Give me 1 second here. All right, so we are recording. Welcome to the call tonight. We're going to be talking about the 5 steps to healing inflammation. Super important topic, was a standing room only sold out crowd when we talked and taught on this subject in San Diego just a short month ago, not even quite a month ago. So I wanted to make sure we record it so people can share it tonight, and I'll get it out in an email. But like I said, if you have any questions, throw those in the chat box. And if not, we're going to get started with our training tonight. How many of you are excited? If you are, can you put a thumbs up or a yes in the chat? And then after I get done with the slides, I will come back and I will answer any questions that are put in the chat box. But again, I don't want to keep you waiting because I know this is super important information for everybody to start living a life that's pain-free, but also living a life that you love and having a body that you love just by doing 5 simple things. I'm not going to tell you that they're easy, but they are definitely simple. All right, so 1 moment here, and I will share my screen, and we're going to jump over to the slides. All right, so inflammation healing in 5 steps. Like I said, 5 simple steps. Not necessarily easy, but definitely simple. And that's what we're going to cover tonight. So first and foremost, who am I, right? So many of you probably have seen me online or you've met me at an expo potentially. We've never met, and one of your friends or family members sent you the link to register for tonight's education. And they thought that you either needed the information or had somebody in your life that you could share the information with. So let me introduce myself. My name is Tiffany Hinton. I'm a best-selling author. I have 2 #1 books that have been on the Amazon chart. I'm a business owner, a super mom. I've got 3 kids, and at one time they were all under 3 years old. We had, 3 in 3 years. And then I'm a gluten-free lifestyle expert and a gut healing coach. And my focus is helping women to have a life and a body that they love. Because once you love yourself, you can do anything in the world. You become a superhero. It is so true. So let's get into a little bit of the information, all right? And then I'll come back and tell you more about my story as we go. But let's just kind of dive all in. It happens to everyone. Shattered dreams and shattered health. Every one of us has been let down, disappointed, sick, and tired, right? Or you know somebody that has. Every one of us needs healing. Everyone. We all have pictured the way our life should be, right? Everybody had that dream. I know when I was growing up, I dreamed of having kids. I dreamed of having blonde-headed little girls. I did get my girls. But what I did not expect is being told at the age of 16 that I had unexplained infertility and that I would need to be on the birth control pill for the rest of my life because I would menstruate and bleed for 60 to 90 days at a time and nobody could figure it out, right? But yet in my dreams, I always thought that I'd be a mom. And so at that point in your life, you kind of try to figure out a way not to hold on to those dreams or to let go of those dreams, but deep down inside, you still have dreams. So we all have pictures of the way our life should be. For some of us, those pictures of the way our health should be versus the picture of reality is just a reminder our lives are not turning out the way we had hoped, the way that we envisioned. No matter what has happened or how you feel, please know that you're not alone in this. Because here's what I'm learning. Everyone needs healing. Every single person. You may think that you don't need healed. You may think that you're invincible, but at some point in your life, something will happen and you will need some sort of healing, whether it's spiritual healing, mental healing, or inflammation healing, which is what we're talking about tonight, or just, physical healing of the body. And we all had dreams and we all had expectations, right? And nobody grew up thinking, I'm going to get cancer at the age of 41. My sister-in-law, Tanya, surely did not grow up thinking that. And last spring, about a year ago now, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. What I am here to tell you, though, is by following these 5 steps and by doing a few things in addition to this and doing some holistic, some prayer, and, some spiritual work, she is cancer-free. She's been cancer-free since October, which is awesome and amazing. And she did no chemo and no radiation. So she beat her cancer holistically through nutrition, and prayer and through the power of God, and it's amazing. And I've seen a couple of other people do that in my life. And nobody ever grew up thinking, I'm going to live in constant pain at the age of 34. And yet we know people in our lives, right? How many of you know somebody that lives in pain every day from either rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia, or something else, or just knee pain? You can type yes in the comment box, because we all know somebody in our lives, if it's not ourselves, that live in pain every single day, and they just think that's how they're going to have to live the rest of their lives. And what I want you to know is it's not. There's inspiration and there's hope. And nobody ever planned to get sick, right? And nobody ever thought their child would stop growing at the age of 2. I sure didn't. One of my children did stop growing. She was wearing a 12-month in clothing from the age of 1.5 until the age of 3. And she had to go in and have biopsies and a lot of tests. We spent a lot of days in the hospital. And she was, 9th percentile for growth. She was diagnosed failure to thrive, and we had to kind of figure out what was going on. And it's a scary moment as a mom, not knowing what's happening with your child and why they won't grow. And let's be honest for a minute. Part of what brings us such strong emotions is the fact that it feels like all the other people around you are achieving their dreams, and their lives seem so put together, right? Everybody else is happy. Everybody's smiling. Oh, they're so healthy. They're jogging. They're exercising. They're going to the gym. Oh, they feed their kids so much better than I do, right? You look at everybody else, and you're like, they have it so much better, right? Everyone else is healthy. Everyone else is fit. Everyone else is having kids. Why do I have infertility issues? Everyone else is successful. Why can't I lose the 10 pounds I want to lose? Does that sound familiar to anybody? If it does, again, type yes in that chat box on the screen. Because I have to say it happens to everyone. It certainly happened to me, and I'm sure it's happening to either you or somebody you know. So what do you do when you have to find another way? What do you do when what you're doing is not working? What do you do when you've spent so much money you don't even know where to go get more money to buy food for your family because you're so in debt to medical bills or supplements or something else you're trying that's not working for you? What do you do? And that's what I want to explore in our seminar course tonight and in our material that we're covering. Because to tell you the truth, I needed the answers as desperately as you do. And I'm going to get a little bit into my story as well. And I would never pretend to know what you're going through. And I would never assume to understand the pain and frustration you may be experiencing. Everybody has their own experience, and until you actually put on their shoes and you walk in their life, you don't know what it's like. And even if you just try on somebody else's shoes, you're not that person. So you can have empathy, but you have no idea what's really going on because you're not them. But I have personally experienced health scares, which I told you I'll tell you about, and I've walked with a countless number of people through unspeakable diagnosis, like my sister-in-law Tanya and her cancer diagnosis. A friend of ours is diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. A lady that I worked with had a heart attack and then type 2 diabetes and didn't know if she'd ever live to see her grandkids. And all of these people, I've held their hand, I've been on journeys with them, and they're on a path to where they're healed. And it's truly amazing what you can do when you want to do it. So my symptoms, by the age of 14, I was asthmatic. I had acid reflux. I had bloating. By the age of 18, I had intestinal bleeding because my intestines had eroded enough that they had ulcerated. And then I also, like I mentioned earlier, I had unexplained infertility for over 14 years. What we come to find out later is that I am actually celiac, and because my celiac went undiagnosed for so long, it caused me to have 2 other autoimmune conditions, including Crohn's and ulcerative colitis, and then I was also diagnosed with endometriosis stage 4. In reality, what we found out from my endocrinologist is that it's not about what you're eating currently, it's about what you had been eating in the past that has changed the DNA, has changed your microbiome in your gut, and is inducing all of these inflammatory reactions. So I was originally misdiagnosed with ulcerative colitis at the age of 18 when I went in because my intestines were bleeding. They put me on Azicol and prednisone, and they put me on an enema called Coldacort. I could take up to 25 pills a day if I needed to, and at one point I was maxed out on prescriptions, and I still felt like I was dying. I would leave work early to go home and take a nap in the middle of the afternoon so I could get up and eat dinner to go back to bed and sleep for 13 hours a night. I had severe pain, My colon was completely ulcerated, and it would cramp up, and I'd feel like you had Charlie horses in your gut. And I will tell you, it is no way to live, no way at all. And because we didn't know I was celiac at the time, and because the gastrointestinal doctor wasn't looking for that, he told me that I needed to eat more fiber and I needed to be eating more wheat, which in reality just made everything so much worse. My real diagnosis was that I have stage 4 endometriosis. There's only 5 stages of endometriosis, and at the 5th stage, they kind of put you in hospice. I've had multiple abdominal surgeries because of my endometriosis, and normally in cases of endometriosis, it is, if you don't know what it is, it's uterary tissue that grows outside the uterus. Normally in women, they see it only in the reproductive category. For me, it grows on my lungs, it's on my diaphragm. I've lost my appendix due to endometriosis. It totally surrounded it and starved it off to death. I've lost half of an ovary. I've lost part of my colon, and it's everywhere. It's all throughout my body. I have a gluten intolerance because of my celiac EQ2 genes, and then I have a lactose intolerance because of the celiac as well. So, like I said, I was originally diagnosed with infertility. We were in debt over $680,000 to the university hospitals up here in Chicago. And at that point, we're told they couldn't treat us anymore. And at that point, I'm like, I can't even pay you any money I owe you. And you refused to treat me. And I had to go find a specialist. Once we found the specialist and he diagnosed me correctly that I had celiac antibodies and I needed to change my diet, which I will tell you, any lifestyle change and anything like that you go through, it is a horrific process. You grieve food just like you grieve people because food is ingrained in our society. Food is ingrained in our holidays. Food is part of our memories. And if you've got a grandma, you remember one special dish she always made, right? Mine was my grandma's chocolate pie. And you look at food as like your saving grace. Yes, it nourishes us, but we look at it for a whole lot of other things when we're in America. So I had to go gluten-free, dairy-free, and sugar-free. And at the time, I didn't know that was paleo. I just knew I couldn't eat those things anymore. And I came home from the doctor with a list of things that I could eat, which was a blessing to know, like, hey, if it's on this list, I can have it, versus looking at it in a negative fashion. But at the same time, I went through my kitchen cabinets, and if it wasn't on the list, I threw it. I seriously just shoved it into a box. And then I looked at Will at the time, and I said, hey, take it out of my house, put it in the dumpster, put it somewhere else. I don't really care. I knew I wouldn't have the self-control not to eat it if it was sitting in my kitchen, kind of like now I love potato chips. And if they're in my kitchen, I go and I eat them. They're gluten-free, dairy-free, and they fit my dietary restrictions. But at the same time, it takes self-control to have something around and not be able to consume it. So gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free for 9 months. Then the endocrinologist, who is also an infertility specialist, would treat us for infertility because I had started to heal my body. So then Frankie was born. She's the one on the tricycle on the front, and she was born 6 weeks early. She was born and ended up in the NICU. Her lungs collapsed an hour after she was delivered, and then at 3 days old, she started failing. Come to find out, she was diagnosed with galactosemia. It's a big, scary word. I'm curious if anybody knows what that means. If you do, again, type it in the chat box. Basically, it means she is missing the GALT gene in her DNA, so she cannot break down lactose. She doesn't produce the enzymes in her liver to break down lactose. And if she gets dairy, too much dairy, it causes liver failure in her. She has neurological reactions to gluten, and then she has behavioral issues to Red 40. So she's gluten, dairy, and Red 40 free. Liliana was born 14 months after Frankie. And yes, both of them were in diapers at the same time. It was a little crazy. And Liliana is diagnosed with non-celiac gluten sensitivities currently and Crohn's disease. She had 14 biopsies in February of 2015, and her intestines were purple. She's also anaphylactic to peanuts and tomatoes, allergic to other nightshades like onions, green peppers, jalapenos, eggplants, and then allergic to American cheese because she has reactions to annatto, which is a seed that they use to make cheese yellow. Josie was born about 14 months after Liliana, about 13 and a half. And then we had 3 in diapers, and there's where the super mom comes to play. Josephine is anaphylactic to eggs and allergic to berries. So strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, cranberries. She gets horrific hives. So both Lily and Josie carry EpiPen and Benadryl everywhere they go, and we are like the food allergy family is what we're known for. We're known for making things fun, but yet safe, right? And if anybody was on Instagram or Twitter earlier today, you saw Liliana dressed as Superwoman with Enjoy Life cookies because she is a little cookie monster. She loves her sweets, don't get me wrong, but she does it safely, which is amazing for her to do. And what I will tell you is we put her on a paleo diet after her diagnosis. She's the little one on the back of the tricycle. And she put on like 7 pounds, grew 4 inches in last summer. So the paleo diet, it works. I mean, it healed me, it healed Liliana, and now we just have to watch because once in a while she'll eat things like corn, and they trigger her gallbladder not to produce bile. But we notice that, and we can treat that holistically. So what does this mean for you? Well, what I want you to know is that you're not going to have to undertake the rest of your life on the power of just your own resources, right? We're a whole community. The whole gluten-free community, the whole holistic naturopath community, we're here for you. We're here to support you. And we have a whole group, right? And I actually have a whole group of women that are helping each other and inspiring each other every single day to come to loving their life again, or loving their food choices, and just loving everything about themselves. So let's talk about the 5 steps to healing. And if you are at home, I would encourage you to get a pen and a piece of paper or a pencil and paper so you can make notes. If you've got questions as we go, again, just type them up in that chat box, and as soon as I'm done with the slides, I'm going to flip over to that chat box, and we're going to answer all of those tonight. And if I don't have the answer, I will find the answer, and you will get that in your email, or I will call you with it. So we will not leave you hanging. Are you ready? These are critically important, and they will change everything about your life. They will change the way you feel every day. They will change the amount of energy that you have, and they will change how you look at yourself. So number 1 is food and nutrition, right? We can't have optimal health by eating the average American diet and taking vitamins and supplements. It just doesn't work. Real food contains all the secrets. This is why it's important for us to use real food to fulfill the vast nutritional requirements of your cells. So just so you guys know the science, right? Your cells have approximately 4,000 different enzyme systems with more than 1,000 different chemical signals, performing trillions of chemical reactions every single second of every single day. More than 250 different nutrients have been identified, and likely there are thousands more that scientists have yet to identify that are important for you to enjoy optimal health. So what does all that mean, right? That's why you can't have optimal health relying only on vitamins and nutrient supplements, right? You actually need food. Real food is what contains those secrets, like we just said. And that's why with the protocol that I work with, it's specifically designed to use real food in very particular ways in order to fulfill that vast nutritional requirements that your cells need, that your mitochondria need. Now, how many of you remember 7th grade biology and there's mitochondria inside a cell, right? Probably not many, but some, right? So if you think of a cell as like a chicken egg, and then inside there's a yolk. The yolk is what feeds the chicken as he grows, right? Well, in your cell, you have a yolk as well. It's called a mitochondria. And if you eat bad stuff, then the mitochondria has junk food in it, and it makes the cell sick. Or it makes the cell, get toxic or all this other stuff. But if you eat really healthy, clean food, the mitochondria has clean, healthy stuff inside of it to feed the cells. And then you start to radiate. You start to have energy. And your cells start to just grow with vibrance. And what we find in science is if your cells, if you want to put them on a scale of like 1 through 10, and you've got cells that currently are at a number 4, right? So they're not super good, your mitochondria is. You've been eating McDonald's, or you have coffee and sugar, and you have all this other stuff every so often, right? Well, those cells, when they generate new cells, generate a cell that's either worse off based on what you're consuming or better off based on what you're consuming. So in as little as 21 days, your cells could go from like a 4 to a 5 just by changing the food, not changing anything else in your diet whatsoever, right? So it's crazy, but your body can start to heal itself, but just by you putting simple things in place. All right. So what you want to do is you want to be able to follow an integrated functional medicine plan. This is what I was talking about protocol-wise, gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free. Now, if you already are diagnosed with an autoimmune condition, cancer, or some other chronic disease, then what you're going to want to follow is an ultimate healing plan. And that means you're grain-free, legume-free, as well as being dairy-free and sugar-free. And can you do it? Most definitely you can do it. I live that way the majority of my life. There are very few days that I will eat grains, and I never eat anything with gluten. And for legumes are beans, right? Peas, but primarily beans. And peanuts are legumes. You can eat a whole lot of food without eating legumes. If you've got gout, by the way, the legumes will aggravate the gout. And so a lot of people that have gout are told that they're not allowed to eat beans anymore for the rest of their life. And it's so true because it aggravates it. The other thing to keep in mind is that legumes will continue to feed inflammation. It won't allow the inflammation to go away. All right, so your new prescription is food. It's that simple. Solution to the problem? Eating real organic food, right? There's the solution. Step 1, eat real food. Eating a clean diet, a real organic and whole food. And if you jump over to our website, we actually have a report that you can download for free on how to eat organic on a budget. Because not everybody has a ton of money, and I get it. It's about saving money and feeling better. Number two is water. How many of you are sitting there tonight with a glass of water? I am. All right. So things to keep in mind around water. It's not advisable to drink tap water unless it is filtered. Tap water is chlorinated, and it damages the gut flora balance, right? And when the gut flora gets imbalanced and you end up with too much bad gut flora, then you end up with bloating, you end up with gas, you can end up with constipation. But chlorination can also cause inflammation. So you want to drink filtered water. Or you want to have like an osmosis machine or something like that. You don't want to drink tap water that has fluoride in it or chlorine. All right, and an average adult should be drinking 1.5 liters or about 60 ounces of water each day on average. But what really is the solution for step 2 in water is you want to drink half your body weight in ounces each day. So if you weigh 150 pounds, that's 75 ounces of water each day. Is it a lot? No, not really. Does it look like a lot? Yes, it does. But if you look at like a large ball jar, wide mouth, it's 32 ounces. So 2.5 of those would be all your water for the whole day, right? It's not a whole lot. And you can drink water, just like carry a water bottle with you everywhere you go. Take a sip every 30 minutes or something, and you're going to have your water in for the day. You'll be amazed. I've got people that I'm working with that when they started were like, no way can I drink that amount of water. And now they're like, I drink 80, 90 ounces a day, and I still have no idea how I do it. But your body starts to crave the water that it needs anyway, and it makes it easy to do. The other thing is when you get enough water, your body can release the toxins it needs to release, and you start to feel better. All right, so number 3 is walking. Walking. Why walking? Why exercise, right? The brain literally depends on exercise for the growth factors it needs to thrive. Exercise stimulates the release of particular hormones in the brain that nourish brain cells. Now, I get it. Some of us can't walk, 5 miles a day. Some of us barely can get off the couch to walk to the mailbox. So if that's you, that's okay. But do some stretching. Do some yoga, even if you can't touch your toes. Just try. Do some Pilates. Do some stuff to stimulate the brain so that you're creating the hormones you need to nourish your brain. That will help you keep dementia away, but it will also help you start to regenerate healthy cells. So exercise can include walking, of course, stretching, balancing, strengthening, and cardio. Now, I've been talking a little bit about how we're going to do a challenge starting on Monday of next week. We'll do some walking step challenges too, and there'll be some prizes. So definitely you want to get in on the challenge. All right, so the solution in step 3 is walking. Move or walk for at least 20 minutes each and every day. That's all your brain needs is 20 minutes of movement, right? So whether it's 2 10-minute sessions or it's 20 minutes all at once, get up, go to your mailbox, walk around your block, whatever it is, walk around your house. For some of us, it's still winter, so maybe you drive over to the local mall and you do 1 lap inside while it's warm, right? You don't have to go shop or buy anything, but it's a nice place to walk, and it's safe, and it's warm, and it's covered. So there's lots of options. All right, number 4 is decluttering. And you're like, what does this have to do with my health? I know, I get it. But what I want you to know is if you clear your environment, you need to clear your environment to clear your mind. Whether you're mentally holding on to something, physically holding on to newspapers, magazines, a junk drawer in your kitchen, or just clutter in your closet, all of that causes additional stress on us because at some point we get frustrated by the junk. We get frustrated by the pile of magazines. We get frustrated by the newspapers piling up, whatever it is, right? And that stress causes adrenal stress, which will then cause hormonal issues and will impact your body. The other thing to keep in mind is if you're holding on to something and you're not letting it go, it will eventually manifest itself into an ailment, scientifically proven. So whether it's physical, mental, or environmental, during the challenge week or at all, once a week, you need to throw it out, give it away, forgive and forget. Whatever it is, we actually have a calendar reminder our family does on Thursdays because our trash day is Friday morning. It says declutter, and it goes off Thursday evenings about 5 o'clock. And it's just a reminder to be like, hey, what can I throw away this week? I don't need it anyway. Maybe it's old mail. Maybe it's broken shoes. Maybe it's crayons that the kids have broken half. Whatever it is, what am I going to throw away this week? If you are holding on to hatred, if you're holding on to guilt, if you're holding on to not forgiving somebody, during the challenge week, I would challenge you, or next week, or even tonight if you get a chance, to write a letter, forgive them. You don't have to mail it. You don't even have to give it to them. You can go burn it if you want. But just, it will get it emotionally out of your system, and it will be a weight lifted off your shoulders. And you'll physically be able to feel that. So the solution to step 4 is decluttering, cleaning out one area of your home today. And I seriously, like I said, whatever it is tonight, go throw something out, go set it on the curb, go write a letter to somebody, and just get it done and get it over with and say, hey, I got rid of something this week, and it feels amazing. All right, number 5 is a bath. And you're like, what? Why do I need a bath? Who said I stink? No. But in reality, Grandma knew that you needed a bath every day, every night, at least twice a week, right? And she knew what she was talking about. And let's find out why. Consuming a modern high diet, high processed foods diet has devastating effects on our magnesium, right? And it's causing magnesium deficiencies in the population in the U.S. When you're deficient in magnesium, it causes sleeplessness, it causes tics, it causes muscle spasms, cramping, seizures, anxiety, and it can cause irregular heart rhythms. Some people are on medication because they have an irregular heartbeat. In reality, they could just be magnesium deficient. And it's because of the stuff that you're eating, like all of that boxed food down there, right? And then the other thing, besides magnesium, sulfur. And you're like, how am I going to get magnesium and sulfur in a bath? But I'm going to explain how that works. But let's talk about sulfur. So when your sulfur deficiency occurs within the low-fat diet that we typically have in the Western nations, there are more serious problems, way more serious problems. So you're on a low-fat diet with refined carbohydrates, which ends up getting directly converted to fat. So how many of us have like a spare tire hanging around our center of our stomach and we just can't get rid of it? Well, part of it is because of this. You're eating foods that say low fat on the label, great marketing, but it's not really helping you at all or benefiting your health. And then you're eating stuff that's already processed, so it's immediately turning into fat and your body's storing it directly, immediately where they can get it to without much effort. And so that means it's right there next to your liver, right there in that fat tire area or your love handles. Worse than that, the fat is then, when you start to reburn that fat, right, whether you start exercising, you go on a binge diet, when you start to reburn that fat is then released into the bloodstream as triglycerides. And that is, they're trying to fuel the body, but in reality, when it releases it back into the bloodstream as triglycerides, it spikes your cholesterol. And you end up with inflamed muscle cells as well. So it's a big, horrible mess. So sufficient sulfur intake, right? This is what we want. We want to be sufficient in magnesium and sufficient in sulfur. When you have sufficient sulfur intake, it's actually absolutely critical to avoiding problems with chronic pain, with metabolism, with excess weight, and it can also prevent the progression of Alzheimer's or even the early onset of Alzheimer's or dementia because your brain is getting the health it needs. So how do you get that? Well, you go take a bath 3 times a week for 15 minutes at a time in Epsom salt. And when you take a bath, it should have an M. I just realized that it's Epsom salt. You can get a bag for like $6 at Walgreens. you sit there and your body will absorb the magnesium and the sulfur from the salt. And at the same time, the salt will help draw toxins out of your skin. And you'll get out feeling revived. And you'll get out feeling just, some people when they get out of an Epsom salt soak actually feel like they have more energy. And it's as simple as that. But you're giving yourself magnesium and you're giving yourself the sulfur that you need. So what are those 5 steps? Let's kind of go back and relook at these, right? Step 1 was food. Eating a clean diet of real, organic, and whole food with support and a menu, because I'm going to give you a menu for next week for the challenge and recipes and a grocery list. You don't have to think of all of this and you don't have to figure it all out. We're going to make it super easy for you to participate. Step 2 is water. You want to drink half your body weight in ounces each day. Think of Thirsty Thursday, like tomorrow, as water day, not beer, not alcohol. Thirsty Thursday is ensuring that you get all of your water. Step 3 is walking, short daily workouts, 20 minutes, remember? You can do it in your home. You don't have to go to a gym. You don't need a gym membership. You can walk around the block. And then number 4, declutter. Clean out one area of your home today. Just do it tonight before you go to bed. Throw something out. Set it on the curb. Step 5 is taking that bath, taking an Epsom salt bath 3 times a week, right? And maybe you can start that tomorrow and start your 3 times. All right, so expectations. You're like, okay, what do I get if I start doing all of this stuff? Here's what you can expect. You can expect more energy in about 7 days. You can expect better mobility, less abdominal cramping and complaints of gas and bloating, improved blood sugar, improved blood pressure. You can expect weight loss. I'm not going to guarantee weight loss, but I know that you will lose weight. It'll be slow, but slow is great because if you lose it slow, you're not going to gain it back. And you can expect less headaches because you have less inflammation to trigger the headaches. And it's really your choice, right? It's truly your choice. So I'm going to tell you a couple of women that I worked with, a little bit about them, okay? So I worked with a lady, Miss Evelyn, and Miss Evelyn necessarily didn't want my help, but her daughter reached out to me, and her daughter said, hey, I'm getting married. I know I'm going to have kids, and I want my mom to be around to help raise these grandchildren. And my mom's not doing so well. And I was like, okay, but if your mom's not ready to do anything about it, then I can't make her do any lifestyle changes. I can't force somebody to eat this way. They actually have to be able to cook their own food, prepare their own stuff, and do the steps. And she's like, okay. So we did a 3-way call. We got on the phone with her mom, and she shared why she wanted her mom to do it. And then she said, Mom, if you'll do it, I'll pay for the coaching. And I was like, okay. So then Miss Evelyn said, all right, I'll try it. And at the time she said, but I won't eat these things. I won't eat zucchini, and I won't eat this, and I won't eat that. And I said, well, you can't just try it. You either get all the way in or you just don't do it. There is no try, right? Kind of like when you go to the beach. You can't just dip your toe and say that you got in the ocean. That's not going to work. You either get in or you don't get in. And she's like, all right. So I can tell you Miss Evelyn and me have been working together for about 6 months now. She's down over 30 pounds. Her blood pressure has regulated. Her blood sugar is all normal, and she was type 2 diabetic. She doesn't need her insulin anymore. She didn't need her insulin after 90 days of doing these 5 things. And she looks like she's lost 10 years in the pictures. Like, she looks younger. She looks slimmer. She looks amazing, and her energy levels are so high. And what I find funny but is really, really cool is that she ate zucchini. And she said, I never, ever ate it before, but I tried it, and I liked it. And I was like, this is awesome. This is so great, right? And she is loving life again. Now, another lady I work with, she used to never get off her couch. She didn't have energy. She wanted more energy. She wanted to play with her grandkids. She wanted to be able to travel. Her grandkids are in Michigan, and she lives in the South, but she just didn't feel like it, right? And so we also have worked together in the 90-day program. And she now is climbing, hiking foothills and mountains, and in less than 3 months. It's like, I'm like, where did you come from? And then I saw pictures of her from New Year's, and I was like, you don't even look like the lady I met at the last expo. She's like, yeah, I've lost weight. I mean, her face looks younger. She just looks like she honestly has taken 20 years off her age. It's truly amazing. And she said that it's really cool because her husband is super excited just by the way she feels now and her energy. And he's excited. He actually helps cook and do some of the stuff in the kitchen, and he likes the food as well. So it's really cool. But what I want you guys to know on the phone and on the webinar tonight is it's your choice. You can do it. Nobody's going to force you to do it. But if you want to try it, then you got to do it all the way, right? You can't just try one part. You got to do all 5. So what I was saying is you can continue to try to mask the pain. You can grow bitter and feel as if you're all alone, or you can take a step toward healing. You can begin to trust and believe that maybe, just maybe, there's someone in your life who can and will speak those healing words and say, me too, I'm in. I want to do it with you. So that means that when we start the challenge on Monday, since you're on the webinar or you registered for the webinar, you can invite one other person to join the challenge with you and give the 5 days a try. Do the menu with you, eat the same food with you, maybe even go for a walk in the park with you. Just do it with you so you're not alone. And if you find nobody wants to do it with you, I'm going to tell you right now, I'll do it with you. You're not going to be alone. There will be somebody there holding your hand and cheering for you the whole time. So what do I want you to do? I want you to join us for the 5-day challenge to begin your journey to restoration, to begin getting the life and the body that you love, right? Come make it happen for real. And how are you going to do that? First of all, I want you to sign up and join the 5-day challenge week. If you are on the webinar live and you want in, then type in that chat box, I'm in, I want in the challenge. If you're not and you're going to get this as the replay tomorrow, then email me, tell me you're in. Email me also your most common complaints so we can get those addressed during next week. And then join us throughout the 5 days and enjoy our gifted community. We're going to have a closed group on Facebook where you can share stuff that's private and you can get inspiration and you can ask questions. And I'm going to be there with you, so you'll get my time for the week and you don't have to pay me for the next 5 days. All right, so challenge week benefits. What are those? You get an online community, you get accountability, you get a menu for the 5 days, grocery shopping list, recipes, encouragement, daily education emails. So I'm going to give you more science, more reasons why you should be doing these 5 simple things all throughout your life, for the rest of your life. So again, you want to click the link in your email to join the challenge, right? Or message me right now and prepare yourself to live a life you enjoy pain-free. So it's up to you to join us, just sign up for the challenge, but I'd love for you to do this before you leave your computer tonight. So healing inflammation, right, in 5. It's that simple. It's 5 things. It's food, water, walking, declutter, and a bath. And this quote, I'm going to end the slides with this quote, and then we'll jump over to Q&A. But the only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, to move with it, and to join the dance. Like I said, there's no toe dipping in life. You either do it or you don't. You can't try something. You just jump in all the way. All right, I'm going to jump over. I'm going to answer any questions that you guys might have. Give me 1 second. All right, so got all kinds of stuff up on my screen right now. No worries. Let's jump over. All right, so let me see if I can unmute the line. That might even help here. Hold on 1 second.
You are now unmuted.
All right. Can you guys hear me, Ann? Are you able to talk? Okay, so I've got so far in the chat. If you have questions, by the way, about stuff we covered, go ahead and type those in as well. We have about 15, 20 minutes. So if we got stuff we need to get answered, let's do that. Courtney, I see that you're in for next week. So exciting. Welcome. Karen, I will get you added as well. I'm excited to have you in another challenge group. That'll be super fun. Teresa, so excited to have you joining us next week. You are always a blast and a great encouragement in our challenges. And this will hopefully get you back on track because I know you've been sick. Nancy, nice to meet you, and I'm so glad you'll be going to be joining us as well. So what you guys need to know is I'm going to be adding you to a private Facebook group within the next few days. Within that group, you're going to get your menus you can download. You're going to get your recipes. You're going to get your grocery list, and I'm going to get you all of that information. The other thing is if you have specific dietary things that I need to be aware of, or you're allergic to certain foods, or maybe you're vegan, plant-based, or you just don't eat pork, or whatever it is. People have everything, right? Let me know what those are so I can help make great suggestions for you to substitute in the recipes, or even sorry about that, even maybe substitute out a recipe for you for something else that will better fit your dietary needs. If you've got celiac disease, RA, or some other autoimmune condition, if you could email me that would even be greatly beneficial so I know exactly kind of where we're targeting and what we're doing. And then the other thing for the ladies that are saying I'm in right now, right, live on the call, I'm going to give you a free 30-minute consultation with me directly. So that's where me and you can get on the phone, just us, and we'll schedule those, and we'll talk about where you're at, where you want to be, what's holding you back, and what do I have suggestions or resources to help you get where you want to be so that you actually do have that life and that body that you're loving. And it's all about helping you. I'm excited. All right. So if there are no other questions, you guys can have a fabulous night, and I will get all of this set up. You are going to continue to get a few more emails. Karen, good question, good question. So her question is, if we have someone who couldn't make it on the call, you are more than welcome to forward this recording. I will get it sent out tomorrow. And they are also able to join the 5-day challenge. So like I mentioned, you can also invite one friend to join the 5-day challenge with you. And that way, you've got a partner. And then if they end up going forward with coaching, then we'll work on affiliate payouts because I do pay commissions for anybody that makes referrals. And so, yeah, but for you, Karen, for Teresa, for Nancy, and for Courtney, we'll also do the free 30-minute consultations so we can get on the phone and have a personal conversation. But, yeah, go ahead, forward the recording, tell them that they can join the challenge for free. They can sign up, and you'll have a link for that, which will come out in the recording email for you to sign up for the challenge. Great question. All right, thank you for joining us tonight. I am going to stop the recording at this point.